to Alec Guinness, who's very, very English, and has a very, very English accent. It's very interesting because he actually pulls it off pretty well. Because his real accent is way different.
Oh, he's got that video.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like Fat Bastard.
Hey everybody, am I muted still? Who knows? This thing unmutes me when it wants. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and today, me and my ghost friend Rob, we got Bespin Fullerton, the Bulletin, Chuleton, Drulaton, the Costanza.
Move me over.
Dog owner.
Our logo's covering up Annie Potts. I don't approve of that.
Oh yeah, don't. I mean, that's what gets the views. Is 1977 Annie Potts. I say
79.
Was it that late? Was that late? Okay.
Post Star Wars, 78 or 79.
Yeah, whatever, nerd. Yeah, but anyways, today we are in Star Wars Armageddon. Someday your grandchildren are going to ask, where were you during Star Wars Armageddon? And I had this on the brain. I mentioned this to Bespin 5 or 6 times over the last couple of months, and James sent it to me and reminded me, and I was like, well, okay, if James is remembering and I'm remembering, then I think we need to preface the show with this. This is Steven Spielberg and George Lucas a few years ago, and Spielberg says, you're at the point right now where a studio would rather invest $250 million in one film for a real shot at the brass ring, Spielberg said, then make a whole bunch of really interesting, deep, personal, and even maybe historical projects that may get lost in the shuffle because there's only 24 hours, meaning amount of theaters that can show something. And then
did you go see War Horse, Jason? Were you lined up for that one?
Yeah, I did. That shit was boring as fuck. Yeah, I did. And then Lucas says, what you're going to end up with is fewer theaters, bigger theaters with lots of nice things. Going to the movies is going to cost you $50, maybe 100, maybe 150. And that's going to be what we call the movie business. But everything else is going to look more like cable television on TiVo. But they are not wrong. They were not wrong. And that's exactly where we've ended up. The thesis of this ends up going on to say that there will be a perfect storm. And when that perfect storm happens, we're going to see all of these movies start to get wiped, and the industry is going to begin to slowly implode, or I don't know, maybe not even slowly, but it's going to implode. And we're kind of there now. Bespin, do we start with the Iger article or the SAG article? Iger first?
I did Iger first, yeah.
I had the Iger?
Well, technically, I wrote the other one first. I just had to wait for the rules to come out before I could publish, but...
Right.
Just on that, quote, that was, about, Lucas and Spielberg seeing how the movie industry will go.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that was, accelerated massively by COVID. Theaters going under, especially the smaller ones, not being able to cope in that climate and lack of movies, lack of income.
Yeah.
That's what put them out of business. And then you see on the movie side, the movies like The Last Duel, which didn't do well. Those sort of movies ended up going to become more streaming movies because people weren't paying to go and see those in the cinema. At the time, it was literally just big blockbusters. But this summer, we're seeing big blockbusters fail. And a lot of those have, overinflated budgets.
Right.
So it's a mixture of things that's causing the downfall of the movie.
Yeah, but that was basically the warning was don't put all your eggs in one basket. And that's where we've got. And so we're going to go on to the Iger article now.
To be fair, that was the exact point of Katzenberg's memo that was the basis for Jerry Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Katzenberg wrote a memo, an internal Disney memo at the time, because they just had Dick Tracy bomb and Rocketeer was in production and a bunch of other fucking things that weren't making their money back. The recession at the time had something to do with it. But they were putting all their money in these big tentpoles when it was their smaller films over at, Buena Vista, or things like Pretty Woman, or back, almost 10 years prior, Down and Out in Beverly Hills, that actually is what brought that company back to financial stability.
Yeah.
He called them singles and doubles. We're ignoring the singles and doubles for the home run every time, And it's you can't possibly hit a home run every time. But then Independence Day comes out and, oh, fuck it,
Well, do you know what you need to hit a home run every time?
It's the thrill of the fight.
Jason, I was hoping you were going to call it Igerheimer, right? Like the Igerheimer bomb. Just missed opportunity.
Sorry. I always get everything put in my headset twice because that's the world I live in. So I don't know what you just said.
Igerheimer.
Igerheimer, yeah. Fucking Iger, dude. Iger has just made me want to trip him in the hallway, the fucking dork. Couple of
what
times.
I was saying was I thought you were going to do an Igerheimer joke.
Oh, right.
Bomb with, his head. Kind of like that Garbage Pail Kids with the...
Do you remember that like a while ago I sent you like one of the records I was going to put out but never did? I had the song on it called like Atomic Surf. I don't know if you remember that song. Yeah, on it I talk about Oppenheimer. I talk about Barbie. I talk about Indiana Jones and Jonah Hill. And Jonah Hill and it's about surfing. And so Jonah Hill. So I'm psychic and I predicted the summer. And if those movies bomb, my song is officially psychic. That's some.
Thank God he doesn't sing about Mission Impossible, right, Basman?
No, Tom Cruise does not make it in. I don't reach out with the force and feel that. Okay, so bestmanbulletin.com, the guy on the panel here today, got with us, wrote this article. So if you've got any problems with it, take it to him right now. Let him know that you're fucking tired of his shit. He's here. You can do that.
Or you can just be like Jason and say, I'm sure it's captivating, and just scroll on past.
I'm like, you know what? Wow, he's an Inquisitor. What's his name? Fucking Ganja? I don't even remember what that Inquisitor's name from yesterday. Or something. Yeah. Fucking Myra Banks. Yeah, I can't remember what her name was. But and then she's not a woman. She's not a stuntman woman. She's not a stunt woman. She's a stuntman now. I don't know. Whatever. All right.
Bob, Snake Eyes, remember?
Yeah. It's like Snake Eyes. Yesterday we're hanging out and Bestman asked me, he's all, hey, does Embo have like any like kind of, is he like Snake Eyes? I don't know much about Snake Eyes. And I said, absolutely fucking
not visually. Like I know the visual difference.
Yeah. I just mean like they have a dog. Like me and Embo are as much as like Snake Eyes in that we have a dog. You know
what I like about this image is that he was so full of hope and optimism at this point when he's presenting Disney Plus and like got all these great shows coming to you, and now he's fucking on his knees. Yeah, like, we need to save money everywhere. It's such a far cry from where we were like 3 years ago.
There was like,
he can fucking blame himself here a little bit too, right? Like the whole justification he made at the time for spending $70 billion on Fox IP was to litter Disney Plus with what he called the home staplers or some shit like that. He's like comfort food. He's like, if you look at the most streamed videos and content on the fucking internet, it's stuff that people already, are comfort. They already know it, like Friends and fucking CIS and shit like that. Cheers. They stream the shit they already know more than they stream the new stuff. So his plan was to fill Disney Plus with all the stuff you already knew, with all that Fox IP, Simpsons, all that shit, Family Guy, whatever. And then it never happened. No, never happened, right?
In the U.S.,
it never happened. Simpsons and that's it. Yeah, in the U.S., it never happened. They were like, this isn't Disney. Meanwhile, the fucking right-wingers are going around saying, Disney's pedophiles. It's fucking a blood cult. It's adrenochrome. Like, all sorts of shit.
Continue, yes. You're making sense to me right now.
Jason's spending way too much time on Threads.
Sorry, I'm just I heard about this new guy named Q, and he's making a lot of sense. Robert Alfonso St. Clair says, remember when Iger was everyone's hero and savior like 6 months ago? Now everyone's getting ready to light up their Iger effigies, laugh out loud. Good times in the age of social media hero worshiping. Yeah, so for the record, I got two things to say about that. When we get into the stuff that we talk about today, always remember that Iger's commenting on the working class while having $700 million in his bank account. And I am of the opinion that the ruling class is full of inbred fucking morons, okay? I believe this 100%. I know this is true. I went to college with some of them. That said, I think Iger is the most pragmatic of the fucking golden nippled babies out there. So I wouldn't throw Bob Iger in the trash for, let's say, a David Zaslav, even though he's sucking David Zaslav's golden titties in every interview where the guy's mentioned. So that's a thing that's happening too. That said, yeah, it's just like when I went over to the other social media platform, lesser of two evils at the moment, but make no mistake about it. These people aren't our friends. They don't care about us. They probably don't even really care about the IPs that we love, you know, at the end of the day.
Everybody wasn't unanimously in praise of Iger's return. Like, me and you have had many conversations, like, on like that we do every night on Fortnite.
But like, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but like somebody you podcast with was like, you know,
from the jump, he was really like against it, and you know, I haven't been super on board. I haven't loved a lot of his decisions, so you know, I don't think everybody was in awe of it, especially people doing research on Iger and what he's going to bring to what he was brought in to do, you know, following the Chapek removal and everything.
Well, the conversation we had here specifically though, Besman, was that it was like, okay, maybe he'll fucking finally get Disney Plus back to what he said it was going to be, but it doesn't change the fact that the people that work at the parks were still living in their cars while he was CEO. I mean, we made that exact statement here, like, you know, like, and it's been a fucking fact that him, what's the guy that used to run Pixar, dude? Not Pete, Lee. The fucking guy that wrote the book, dude.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
No, Lee Harvey Oswald, man. He didn't write that.
The General Lee. The car itself. Kit. Knight Rider.
The guy, one of the doctor, one of the guy that founded the fucking Pixar, wrote a fucking book, like the art of whatever. And so like they had got caught colluding amongst all the fucking other animation studios, Katzenberg included, to keep wages down for animators, you know?
Yep.
Like, and that's what stopped, because after the whole, I imagine that was after the whole DreamWorks Disney price bid war. Remember in the late 90s, they were making good money being animators. And once these all went to CGI, they're like, we're not fucking going to have thousands of animators hold us hostage. So
Iger who makes,
thanks, Sean.
And Iger who makes $75,000 a day. Thank you, Shane Peterson, for doing the basic math. That's beyond me. Making $75,000 a day is appalled at people who want to make less than $75,000 a year in Los Angeles. Right. What an asshole. Sorry, Iggy, you're being a stupid asshole right now. Here's what the article says from BestmanBulletin.com. Following the announcement that Disney CEO Bob Iger had extended his contract into 2026, Iger sat down for a new interview where he discussed various topics and revealed that the company would be pulling back on various franchises, including Star Wars.
Always pull out.
All over C-3PO's face. You could support Bespin on Threads, be his friend. You could be a Patreon supporter, give him a coffee, and say this is just a tip. During the discussion with CNBC, the interviewer brought up the output of Star Wars and Marvel Studios content had been a little much. It's a little much. And asked if Disney would be pulling back from those franchises in terms of releases. All over 3PO's face. Bob Iger simply said, yeah, before briefly pausing and elaborating on the decision, telling CNBC, you pull back, not just to focus, but as part of the cost-cutting initiative, spending less on what we make and making less. So, not the best way to put it, Bob. Gonna be honest with you. The Disney CEO.
I have a question, Jason, right? Because we're gonna move past this, but it's like, does anyone really think? So I did the math, and it was like, okay, if they had spent, they would need to spend about $100 million. If Indiana Jones only made $300 million at the box office, then they would have only had to spend $100 million on its production. What I'm trying to say is, if they had only spent $100 million on the production of Indiana Jones, would that have guaranteed they make more than $300 million? Or should they have said, oh no, we only think this movie's going to make $300 million, and then they go, well, why even make it if it's only going to make $300 million?
I'm going to throw it back into the point you were making yesterday. I think it was on the show. Sorry for hitting my desk. Is that they don't tend to like advertise their toys and their T-shirts. There's not ads there. So I think that for a lot of these kind of Star Wars style productions and Indiana Jones style stuff, which by the way, Indiana Jones, I don't think sells products, but all of that said, I think that's sort of like where they make up is like in the marketing machine itself. And like the ad I see, for Star Wars on the bus does as well to sell me a Baby Yoda toy at Target as it does the show. So I think that's sort of where there's a little bit of like, yeah, it stings a little, but fuck it. I'm guessing because the truth is that they could probably turn their profit margin for the movies and the TV shows into exactly what it is with a hell of a lot less risk. So why the risk? That's what I believe. That's where I think the risk is picked up. That's why the risk is there. I think that's why it's okay for them.
Right, but what I'm also saying is lowering the budget doesn't solve it making the money that they expect a movie to make at the box office. Is what I'm trying to say. Like,
but they would lose less money in general. Like Indiana Jones would it would break even 300, and then whatever it makes afterwards is profit.
Yeah.
But if you give it any film, not just Indiana Jones, 300 million, you're setting it up to have to do something incredible. Like Mission Impossible has a similar budget, but will likely reach something like 700 or 800 million. You know, just because of where that franchise is.
I'm also adding that conversation, as I agree with you on that, except that these people, they get a high off what they think they're gonna fucking make with the movie.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right? They get CEO fucking high, and it's like, if they're like, that movie's only gonna make about 300 million, and then we're profitable, doesn't scream, we made a fucking $1 billion at the box office. I'm the fucking $1 billion king. You know, that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's why I think Cameron was always been very careful before he comes out with a movie. He goes, I don't know. I mean, it could fail. I mean, like, he's never been like, this is gonna become king of the world. You know, he learned his lesson on that one.
One of the things though that we should also take into account is this may to some extent be posturing for shareholders, in the sense that yes, budgets are going to come down by about 20% across the board, because we're pretending that there's no virus out there that can get us sick anymore. That's where we are.
But even just cutting 20% isn't enough. They need to cut further than that.
No. But let's look at the math for a second though. That's a free 20%. So if you cut 15 more percent, now you've done 35%. That's really fucking good from a budget on a film. And 20% of it was free. You're really only taking it down by 15%. So here's the thing. Until they give us a dollar amount, or we start seeing that Secret Invasion 2 cost $75 million, I'm a little bit in the thing of like, I'll believe it entirely when I see it. Like, and it might be an excuse to cut corners and to do sloppy work and say, yeah, give them a sloppy money. We're giving you sloppy work.
Well, but this is where I go, okay, this is where they're better off investing that $250 million in a fucking Indiana Jones video game that would be just as fucking cinematic as anything else, and
they
fucking
supposedly
make $1 billion. Like, seriously, like a fucking Last of Us style, or it's an Uncharted style fucking Indiana Jones game. You could spend that same amount of fucking money. And so, like, the answer isn't more TV fucking content. The question is, how can you diversify cinematic content? Like animation, you get a lot more animation on Disney Plus, and with that budget, you can get fucking three or four series for that budget. You know,
for me, it's content. Not even like I know that like the dumb guy armchairs just make it good. Oh yeah, like everybody's trying to make everything bad. Like that's such a fucking dumb thing to say. Like I've said it before too. But what I'm saying is like,
right,
like on that front, they need to make it important. That's the problem. Is when you go and you watch 20 hours of TV in Marvel and it wasn't important. Last year I watched a lot of Marvel stuff that I'm not watching it anymore, because I liked the shows I watched, but they weren't important. They didn't really matter in the bigger story of the TV shows. The Oscar Isaac one, I had a fine time watching it. So just as a TV entertainment, it was fine. But did it fucking matter to the bigger like serialized storied content? I don't think so. And so I'm not a big fan. So I'm just kind of like out. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'll probably get the bug and catch up on it someday. But right now, I'm not watching the stuff that comes out with them. I don't even have.
But had they made
right
a $60 million fucking Moon Knight game from a decent fucking studio that had the same actor attached to the voice work and blah, and then maybe he could reprise the role in a movie,
but this is about this is about the movie industry though. I get what I follow you,
but this is a big problem with Disney never caring about video games.
Yeah,
they've never like the giant blind side in their fucking, you know, big time, dude.
And NBC Epic Battles says that MOM was 349, Indiana Jones was 300 million, Secret 220, cutting 20% is not helping enough. The thing about Indiana Jones is there is some shit with that budget. Number one, the budget's not good, just to be clear. The budget on India, in my opinion, Indiana Jones feels like $100 million movie, and it costs about 3 times that. And so with that said, there's things about tax credits that are not applied to the budget that they are going to get in on the back end. There's all kinds of stuff. So, and realistically, we don't know what the marketing budget was on Indy, and I got a feeling it was bigger than the 100 million because I saw a lot of big billboards.
Yeah, but bottom line on it, regardless, is that the film is going to lose hundreds of millions.
It is. Yeah.
Even if you it's disputing 20%, it's like it's irrelevant at this point.
No, you're not wrong, and that's where I'm saying is I'm not saying it's only the COVID is the only thing that's going to cut it. No. Let's just go up and say they realistically say, guys, we're going to have to cut production by 20% with the free COVID 20%. That's 40% right there. And if you think that they're going to continue to make movies like they've done and truly cut 40%, it's not going to happen. It's going to be impossible.
No, but he even mentions today in regards to Star Wars and Marvel, like on the Disney Plus side and likely theatrical.
Yeah.
Because Feige himself even said it like earlier this year, right? That they were scaling back in general in movies and shows. Right. So they're cutting budgets for the films, and which they need to do because they have been overinflated. Little Mermaid, Indy, Ant-Man, all massive budgets.
Yeah.
And on the TV side of things, and me and you know from Mando 3, like we were hearing that they were going to go over budget, and they were trying to cut costs.
And then we heard that Skeleton Crew was the most expensive one they ever did.
Yeah, it was 125 million, wasn't it, or something?
I don't remember I don't know the exact number.
I think it was 125 million with like they had like some California like tax credits attached to it, which allowed it to be the most expensive.
Right. I have a question for you, Bespin. And before, I don't want to like hit on something that you're hitting on in the article because I didn't get to read it. I was on the road taking the kids to their moms so we could do a full show. Do you talk about Kathleen Kennedy and her words from before in this? Because that has occurred to me that when Kathleen Kennedy was talking about both sides of her mouth in the last month, it seems like she was maybe telling the truth and telling the old truth on those same days. Like when you look at it, like Star Wars is going to be eventized and
3 and 18 months.
Yeah, and then they go on to announce 3 movies in a row. And we're like, what the fuck? And then I also see this, and I'm like, well, are the release dates like that they were giving us on the revised release dates even true now with what's gone on in the industry? Well, is it true? Are we losing a movie here?
I don't think so. I think this plan has been in motion for quite some time. Like again, Feige said this in like February, March, like that Marvel had been told to like scale back, and focus more on quality over quantity, which they've been doing, it seems, and hiring more experienced writers, do rewrites of upcoming films like Avatar 2 writers on Fantastic Four and beef guys on Thunderbolts and whatnot. So all this was like pre-planned. So I think the 26 movies and the 27 movie, they are so far out that they can implement the new strategy. Because what Bob Iger talks about today and everything, we won't see the results of that for a couple of years. We're not gonna see the results of that next year because those shows and movies are all already in production or shot or whatever. The Star Wars stuff, that'll be the ones that are affected by these decisions today. Yeah. So, but I think they've been planning this for a while, and the Star Wars shows we'll see next year, Andor, Acolyte, they won't be affected, but it's what comes after.
Yeah, exactly, and
that's might be included because they probably already budgeted for that, because they were supposed to film in September.
Yeah, I would imagine if it gets pushed into a different quarter, with the strikes and stuff like that, they may lose some of that money. It's completely possible.
And in terms of the Star Wars movie, the Rey one specifically, like it was supposed to film in April of next year. That's 2 years away from its scheduled release, so it likely has a year that it could be delayed for, in terms of production, not in terms of movie release. So I think that's fine. I don't think they will be affected by this. What will be affected by this is those movies' budgets and the budgets of the Disney Plus series.
I want my Star Wars movies to have good budgets, but I honestly think that on that Rey film, from the premise that they're giving, they really should not make that a $300 million fucking
no,
movie.
And that's the thing. They're just giving overinflated budgets. They need to be smart about the budgets.
Yeah.
They need to
Rise of
think
Skywalker had a big budget. That wasn't solving the problems.
no,
know?
but 2019 and like those periods,
different world.
Different world. Like Aquaman made $1 billion. Captain Marvel made $1 billion. We never would have like foreseen that.
I don't think Aquaman could pay for an Uber if we were sharing it right now. To be honest with you, guys.
Aquaman like coming up to the end of the year, that's gonna like bomb again for Warner Brothers. So that time is like, and I think some of Disney's thinking for some reason going on into these not post-COVID productions, but the ones that started filming in 2022, 2021, maybe like they still didn't know where the industry was going to be. So they still had the overinflated markets, which they probably were already budgeted for. But I don't know. I just think going forward, everything will get smaller budget. You've seen it on TV. So Game of Thrones, I think they've only got like 5 or 6 episodes this season to save money.
Yeah.
And I think that might be a measure we'll see. Instead of getting an 8-episode Mando season, we get 6. And that might be needed. Like sometimes we get like the quote filler episodes, right?
Yeah, Sam is joking right now. Get ready for 20-minute Mando episodes. Laugh out loud.
This could be a reality. Like it's not a.
Yeah, no, and I'm, to be honest with you, I would be perfectly fine and happy if they announced we're only doing 6 Mando episodes, and it's all killer, no filler.
Exactly. As long as it's paced well and everything, there's no issues. You know.
Basically getting 2 mini Star Wars movies, I'll fucking take that any day.
Oh yeah.
So you go on to write, Bespin. The Disney CEO went on to use the output of Marvel Studios as an example. Marvel is a great example of that. It had not been in the television business at any significant level. And not only did they increase their movie output, but they ended up making a number of TV series. Frankly, it diluted focus and attention. Since 2021, Marvel Studios has released live-action series to Disney Plus. 8 live-action series to Disney Plus. I should be wearing glasses, but I don't want to. I'm too fucking cool for that sometimes. You know what I mean, dude? Since 2021, Marvel Studios has released 8 live-action series with Disney Plus, with 3 more already shot and awaiting release. Echo, Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos. By the way, I believe in Agatha. I think that one's smart. The other 2, I don't know. And in production, Wonder Man, Daredevil, Born Again. He's a born-again Christian. He used to be a devil, but now he's a born-again Christian. In addition, Marvel Studios has released 7 movies during the same time. Yeah, Marvel's fucking prolific as fuck. Needs to slow down. Marvel definitely needs to slow down, but Star Wars ain't doing shit. Star Wars has been fucking drinking Mai Tai since before the pandemic. What are they talking about slowing down? I guess they put out too many TV shows, maybe. Star Wars, on the other hand, has released 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, the limited series Obi-Wan Kenobi, the critically acclaimed Andor, and a Mandalorian spinoff called Mandalorian Season 3. I'm kidding. Mandalorian spinoff in The Book of Boba Fett since the launch of Disney Plus, with 2 more series planned for release this year in Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew, a Jude Law epic. Next year, a 2nd season of Andor is due to be released, along with a new series called The Acolyte. And a planned 4th season of The Mandalorian has been written and is waiting to enter production. In stark contrast to Marvel Studios, there hasn't been a Star Wars film released since 2019, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. But it's not for lack of trying on Lucasfilm's part.
There was
I don't know. That's a little editorializing there on the Bestman Bulletin, I'd say, because did they try that hard? Were they really trying? I didn't
say they tried hard. I just said trying. They tried.
Yeah. I think it's more like, oh no, don't go. Like when you're breaking up with somebody and you're like cool with it. You're like, oh, do we? Oh no, bye. All right.
What movie are we talking about?
Kathleen Kennedy and Patty Jenkins breaking up. Currently, the next Star Wars film is slated to release in May of 2026.
Patty and Louise.
But they further 2 films planned for December 2026 and December 2027. So I am still of the
Louise is Kathy's middle name.
So I but like once again, everything he's saying still contradicts this. I think 1 movie a year is fine, but like 2 Star Wars movies in a calendar year is frankly too fucking much. If you want it to be eventized, as Kathleen Kennedy says, if you want it to feel like I need to get my ass in that seat because I can't miss a Star Wars movie for the next couple of years, or that's my only chance, you're definitely making it not feel like that when you have 2 in the same calendar year, I think, personally.
Yeah, but there might be 2 in the same calendar year, but like 1 show or like no shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
the real problem here is they applied the same level of quality to Marvel and Star Wars that they've done to their fucking film division. You know, the ones that made the Maleficents and the freaking 4th and 5th and 3rd and 2nd Pirates movies, you know, and the National Treasure shows and the sequel to National Treasure. Like the real problem is their film division sucks, you know?
Yeah.
And like they got real lucky that this other shit used to exist outside of it, but at some point that stopped happening, and here we are.
James, thank you for the super chats, bud. James says Disney will play it safe. The Rey movie seems very risky to be the first Star Wars movie in 7 years, though.
well,
And then James gave another super chat and said, "Off to the Church of IMAX to receive Tom Cruise's coded messages from our alien overlords."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, James. I would enjoy the movie. If you don't, feel free to come on here and make Rob mad. I would appreciate it. Sorry, Rob. I love you, Rob.
What?
Okay, so
were we talking about somebody?
no, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, okay.
The comment before that though, but before the Church of IMAX, right?
Oh yeah.
He mentioned like playing it safe.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember at the time, do you remember the I think it was the THR article, which they were the first ones to say that Dave Filoni's movie would be December 2026.
Yeah.
Remember that? Within that they said that Lucasfilm were attempting to play it safe and not take risks, and that's why the Mandalorian crossover movie and the Rey movie was seen as the best like foot forward, like in terms of risk. Because the next one after that is the Dawn of the Jedi one from Mangold, which is on paper the riskier of the 3. So,
And honestly, I mean, after Indiana Jones, who knows what I know, but I think that's the one that would actually be the most the elevator pitch on that one is the best.
I think so too. It's without question, I believe the most interesting.
See how it began is just a bigger, more fun thing than Rey's back at it again. She's been a failure for 15 years, but she's gonna pull herself up by her bootstraps and make Bob Iger happy.
They must have a rough idea of like how much they expect to make.
I think
from the Rey and the Mando movie.
Yeah.
Like for them to be like, this is a safe reintroduction into theaters for Star Wars.
They know what their nest egg of an audience is for those characters and that IP and stuff. Yeah. And I would even be a little bit scared of the Mando one though, because it was attached to a fad and a phenomenon, but a fad that phased nonetheless. And it's like, in 1984, I would have told you Gizmo was going to have 9 movies. Gizmo has 2 and a bad cartoon at the moment.
Well, if like the quality of the TV shows, like in the Mandoverse, continues to like suffer, like Boba Fett like had a drop in quality, as did Mando 3. If the rest of them, like season 4, maybe Ahsoka and whatever else, they continue to drop, then interest and the people willing to go and spend their hard-earned money in the theater to watch that movie like dwindles. That becomes less and less over time, unless they are making those shows of quality on Disney Plus.
Right. Yeah, I feel like they need to reevaluate how they make their shows. Like, I feel like the shows should be like what the novels were to the movies, and that's where the shows should be. Like the shows should be things that prop up the movies and get the movie. Like, there's absolutely no, I hate the word, but synergy between the television output and that. And they for some reason understand it's important, but never ever has Lucasfilm been able to make something that's not the main thing support the main thing. Like, they can't make books that tie into the movies successfully. They can't make shows that actually tie in a timely fashion. Like, my fucking kid's going to be in college by the time there's a live action television show that's to the Star Wars movies he saw in the theater. Like, that's crazy. And it's like, whereas like, I know Marvel has the real world elements to it, but it's like, you know, at least like the stuff that's happening in the TV shows is somewhat parallel to the stuff in the movies to some extent. Like there's something to be involved with. The Star Wars stuff, it's like, hey, do you want to get involved? Don't worry, you don't have to. Get involved when you want to some other day. That's not the way to do this, in my opinion. But you know, I'm hoping though that it, like I said, I'm hoping that this does end up with a more focused Lucasfilm instead of just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what happens, because I still feel that that's where we are. But all right. So Bob Iger, this is from Bestman Bulletin. Bob Iger went on to acknowledge Disney's disappointing year at the box office with their tentpole release, including The Little Mermaid, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and Elemental, all underperforming. With the latest release, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disaster. Sorry, Destiny. I like to say it. It's kind of funny to me. I'm sad for it, but it makes me laugh. Projected to earn below $400 million at the box office, despite boasting a bloated $300 million budget without marketing costs considered. In regards to Pixar, Bob Iger believes the decision to release the 3 Pixar films in a row straight to streaming during the COVID-19 pandemic might have had a significant impact on the performance of Elemental, as audiences now have an expectation that the Pixar release will be available on Disney Plus shortly after a theatrical release. The Disney CEO did, however, acknowledge that in regards to certain releases, there may have been some creative misses. Oh, you don't say. Though refusing to say that Disney might be in a dip at this current time, with 4 of its high-profile 2023 releases underperforming, rich-ass Bob Iger acknowledged the past history of Disney and that when they're in a valley, it's typically followed by a peak. You know, he's saying, he's like, we can't fuck you without thrusting. We got to pull back to push it in. As the Disney CEO told CNBC, if you look at history, there were peaks and there were valleys. Oh, you're fucking
this
poet.
is church talk, Jason.
Every valley
I've
was
gone to
followed
church. This is church
by
talk.
a peak. I've studied it very carefully, and it was true in my predecessor, Michael
Bob
Eisner's
went to
days
Harvest Festival.
too. Oh no,
No,
great.
yeah.
Oh no, there's the word, the halcyon days, with Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, and Lion King, and just this tremendous success. And then there's a dip. I'm not suggesting we're necessarily in that dip.
Yeah, Hunchback, you know.
And I'm also not
Hercules.
suggesting that we're in a peak either. And we have some work to do in our creative output. So, yeah, I mean, he's doing the right thing as the CEO, but not saying they're in the hole. They are in the hole, but he's not acting like they are, because, you know, you got to keep morale high for employees and investors. But
shareholders.
Yeah, and we, as the consumers, we know you're in a fucking hole. I haven't had a Star Wars movie in fucking years at this point. And I've some TV shows. A couple of them are questionably good, some are questionably bad, and some of them are we're still waiting to see them. But it doesn't look too great in some ways on some of the IP fronts. I'm out on Marvel. Was never really a big in on Marvel guy, but it lost me for the most part. So
Yeah,
clearly,
but you'll watch Agatha and probably Loki.
I'll probably watch Agatha, but as long as they're doing what they're doing, I'll probably go find it on the internet for free. You know, fuck them. Clearly, the next years of Disney will feature change, and how it'll impact consumers is yet to be seen. Both Star Wars and Marvel have been cornerstones of Disney Plus, and both played a huge part in the growth and success of the streaming service. So it'll be interesting to see how the streamer fares with less releases from its most popular franchises, and if the quality of the work in regards to the series release will be improved upon. The next Star Wars series, Ahsoka, is slated to release on August 23rd with a 2-episode premiere. So, yeah, it's kind of there's still like a lot to like take apart in all of that right there, because they were saying up front just about a month ago, we're going to do less television series that don't matter. Like we were joking, Tom Hanks won't be playing Geppetto on Disney Plus anytime soon again.
Oh,
right?
Man.
But then now they're saying, oh yeah, and they were saying then we're gonna focus on our Star Wars and our Marvel. That's what we're gonna do.
I still think that's true though. I still think you can cut back on the stupid crap. Like
Yeah.
Pinocchio, and the focus of Disney Plus still be Star Wars and Marvel. It's just that the output from both like companies, from Lucasfilm and from Marvel Studios, will just be significantly less.
Yeah.
Instead of getting 3 a year, which we like have been getting from Marvel, we might get 2. And from Star Wars, we might, especially in the 2026 year, we'd be lucky if we get 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys do realize we're getting a Pixar series too this year, right?
Yeah, Win or Lose, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's like a Bad News Bears looking thing.
Yeah.
Sam says a Star Wars movie every 3 to 4 years makes more sense in this new context.
Yeah, well, again, 3 and 18 months.
Yeah, I am of the opinion that a Star Wars movie every year to every 2 years makes total sense, and make them very good and very eventize those bitches, so to speak. But I don't think that you can take these long ass breaks with Star Wars. Like basically what I'm trying to say is I believe in not in totality, but a large part or some part of Indiana Jones fucking just utterly tanking was the fact that they did absolutely no work for Indy since they bought it. There has been absolutely no cultural work. There's been no little cartoon. There's been no little awareness program. There's been nothing. And now you have like a generation and a half that think, Uncharted is something revolutionary or something like that. And it's just like, no, it's not. It's the same old shit. But once again, they allowed that to happen. They allowed it to slip. Now the television shows at least do that for it. But this going this long without a film is disastrous. I think. I think like my son was in the church of Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? He was in it. Now I think they kind of lost him. I think he's a lot like a lot of the kids that were like me and Rob's generation after Return of the Jedi by like about 87. You were like, you like Star Wars? You're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like it was hard to find a Star Wars fan by the time we hit 87. By the time you're like in like 88.
That's why I got people on here saying, "Oh, I don't like anything Rob likes." I'm like, yeah, but no one liked any of the shit I liked when I was a kid. When you met someone who liked something you like Star Wars, that became your friend, and you didn't know what the fuck who they were. You could be the biggest loser on the planet, but you're like, oh, you like Star Wars? You're the one fucking in Star Wars. More kids cared about Spaceballs than Star Wars in the late 80s, dude. Like it was, and even then, man, when the fucking VHS re-release came out, like the old timers, like my girlfriend's parents and shit were like, oh, Star Wars, It's like, what's wrong?
It was strange. I remember around like the early 90s, there was this episode of I know this sounds strange, but it was this episode of Roseanne, and on it the father and the little weird boy DJ Tanner, they were renting Star Wars and they were gonna watch it like a father-son thing. And I remember like it was like around that moment I was like, that was weird that they just did that in the middle of the show. But it was around that time that like it started to kind of change, But
Lucas was smart in 1994, knowing, hey, in the next 5 years or so, I'm going to have a new movie out. I need to get this back in people's fucking mindset.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the
Energizer Bunny Rabbit commercials.
Energizer Bunny Rabbit commercials, the VHS re-release, video games, books. Like they don't have to be canon. You just have to get it out there to people that they know, and you build a groundswell.
Let people, get it. I mean, right now, my kids think this trend is done, but there's this like stupid show on TikTok, and it's like a toilet with a guy's head that sings a song in it, and like that shit is like more popular than fucking Star Wars right now on the internet. You're like, you guys aren't doing this right.
The one thing I'm like most interested in like from Iger's comments, like going forward, is that he's made a big deal in the past year trying to retain subscribers, and that they were going to use Marvel and Star Wars and wherever else as the means to do that, right? Like that's why he was getting rid of the stupid shit that wasn't bringing them subscribers and entertaining the ones that are already there, such as Pinocchio and wherever else. So I'm interested to see how Disney Plus fares if like there's no Star Wars or Marvel content for like significant portions of the year. So
I don't believe that's going to happen personally. I think that the new layout we're seeing
Star Wars and Marvel shows, like so Marvel this year were operating with 3, like, but they went 6 months of the year without any show, and You know, for Star Wars, we went from November till March without a Star Wars series.
Yeah.
Like, if there's any, and like there was no Marvel series in that either to like break that up, right? So if you go through those sort of
what is the
lulls,
bare minimum, Bespin, that you think it could float? Like 2 Star Wars, 2 Marvel?
What, to keep you subscribe for the entire year?
Yeah, I won't,
maybe?
but I mean, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
saying
no,
like,
but this is what I'm saying.
like you're a Marvel and a Star Wars guy, I'd say, like overall. So like, yeah, and like let's just say you have the money, you're not, you know, the money's not tight or anything like that, and you're just like, you know what, like, yeah, if you have a Star Wars or a Marvel show every quarter, is that, and you know, which kind of goes in between the quarters, does that keep you?
Not if they just don't follow each other right after one. Like as it is now, they follow each other. Like Secret Invasion is going to end. It's going to go into Ahsoka. That's going to go end and go straight to Loki. That'll keep me subscribed. But for the first couple of months of the year, there was nothing there, and that's even in our Disney Plus where we have like all the Hulu, FX stuff mixed in. You know, like there was like nothing in like significant periods of this year. So in the future, where a lot of people like, you know, and there's been like Variety, THR, all these people, they've done like analytics on this. Why people sign up to Disney Plus? The top 2 reasons more than anything is Star Wars and Marvel above everything else. So if you start the output that you've built this audience and the subscriber base on, and for say half of the year you aren't getting, and I'm not saying 6 months at a time, I'm just saying like altogether when you break it down, it's around 6 months, you aren't getting Star Wars and Marvel content. Why would you stay subscribed for those 6 months if they aren't satisfying your need as to the reason why you signed up to Disney Plus? Like, you've quit Disney Plus because currently,
I'm out.
Yeah, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Like, you're not being satisfied as a consumer.
Yeah, I don't need
subscribe to them.
Yeah, I hate Disney and on
So,
whole. Yeah.
So that's what I'm interested in seeing. Like, he wants to retain the current subscribers that they have more than grow it. I'm interested to see if you cut Star Wars and Marvel, how many of those subscribers do you actually retain in the long run?
Yeah.
Because as well, it's not just that. Like, even like their theatrical releases, they are going to the platform much later. They're removing content from the platform. You know, and stuff like that. You know, Crater, it's a small movie, but it was there for 40 days before they removed it. It was a Disney Plus original. Like, that's a very short period of time.
We're not paying these people on this deal. Deal we made on Crater that was completely fair and based off of the fact that they believe Crater would be there for years.
Yeah. So, you know, there's stuff like that. So I'm interested in seeing how that goes. And again, I know my Disney Plus is different to yours, but even if they aren't providing me with good Hulu content, I'm not gonna say subscribe. But
I'll be honest. My hope is that as we move forward, they just start going back to the old iTunes digital distribution simultaneous release kind of method, because I would be just as fucking happy just going on Vudu and dropping $40 for Mando season 4 and not having to deal with their subscription. I don't want to see their fucking Pocahontas behind the scenes documentary or their fucking, you know, it's been fucking 80 years since Mickey Mouse did this. I don't care about any of that shit or their cartoons or their fucking stupid Disney XD kids that are like having their little sitcoms in there. I don't want any of that. Fuck all of that. I just want to watch some Star Wars TV shows. And like, you're making me buy your other dog shit like in this process. Right now, I'm of the opinion that Disney Plus has been a bad idea for me. It's been a good idea to get people to subsidize a bunch of other content that I don't want, but I'm not going to fucking do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth it. I would rather like go watch what's on subscribe, go watch what's on Paramount Plus, unsubscribe, go watch what, you know what I mean? Just be a little streaming service whore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I think a lot of people will do that. Like, absolutely. They will. Right. You know, and it's like over here, like, we have a larger library, obviously, because we have the Hulu stuff. So it's what Rob says, the people that, you know, they want to rewatch and binge watch comfort shows. So over here, like, you see How I Met Your Mother is always in the trending, and
people don't know that me and Rob we sync up our Laverne and Shirley reruns together, and we drink Pepsi with milk in it. This is a thing that we do sometimes, right, Rob? No, we never did that, but we should, right? We should do that, Rob. We should do that.
Sorry, I was.
You're all sorry. I was I was watching
I'm in
Disney
a cult
Plus
right now, so I was just thinking about my cult.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you
don't
did mention
see-
Jerry
you don't
Maguire, and it was not lost on me that there was the Cruise connection there. Okay, I saw
I was
it.
trying.
I saw
Oh,
it.
you saw through my little charade.
I just said not gonna
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
Yeah.
We could deprogram him, but we can never deprogram him if we acknowledge.
I like how this show was all about being a cult a year ago. Like, you even made a theme song about being in a cult, you know? And then now you're like, I don't want you to be in a cult.
No. I'm a jealous god. This is the only cult I approve of. No kidding.
Fair enough.
No. So Mumbo Jumbo says, I never understood why Patty getting dumped from Rogue Squadron meant the movie had to be canceled instead of being directed by another director. And like, yeah, I mean, it's a valid point. It could be in their contract. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing out possible reasons it could be in the contract.
If it's the original idea and original pitch, like maybe.
And like Lucasfilm itself might not have a vision for it, and she did. So
also,
when she walks, the vision's lost.
When the film was indefinitely delayed because of her like ties to Wonder Woman, like they needed a Star Wars movie like pronto, and she switched straight to Taika because she probably thought at the time it's better for us to switch to a movie that's already in development than to get somebody else to redevelop what Patty's been doing anyway. And obviously since then the Damon Lindelof thing picked up internally, and now that's all their focus is the Stephen Knight.
There's always a chance that Warner Brothers still had the power to flip the switch back on Patty and say you're coming back. We don't know. They might have, right?
Oh yeah.
So like from Lucasfilm's perspective, it might be on off, and Lucasfilm's just like, you know what? Fuck this. We just can't.
That is what happened. Like she was like she wasn't supposed to do Wonder Woman 3 until like 2024 or something.
Yeah.
And they brought it back early to start doing it, like because they pushed the release of that movie up. It ultimately got cancelled, so it was pointless. But and then she was left with neither movie. So
yeah. And I am of the opinion that do you want to see Top Gun Maverick on Disney Plus? That's my argument for it. And because it always goes into then why don't they just do it on Disney Plus? Do you want Top Gun Maverick in the theater, or would you want Disney Plus's Top Gun Maverick? And I'm of the opinion that I don't want Disney Plus's Top Gun Maverick.
Here's where I would differ.
Yeah.
If it were a fucking sick ass anime, I want it on Disney Plus. I just think like they're trying to put the cinematic experience on fucking streaming, and it's like Netflix's Daredevil was great because one, it's boots on the ground style shit that they weren't doing in the movie theaters, and it was R-rated, which they weren't going to do in the movie theaters. So trying to give you the same thing at home that you're getting there is where the colossal fucking mistake is made.
Big time.
It
will, and it's like, it's the skirting it though, because they'll be like, oh, we're doing that. They'll be like, no, we're Disney Plus. We don't have to do that. It confuses the people with the money. They're like, what? I thought I was buying Star Wars movies on TV. And then I gave you this much money. I gave you $36 or whatever to watch Mandalorian season 2, and it looked like a movie. Then I gave you the same money, and I got Boba Fett or Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it looks like a Disney Plus TV show. Like, what's going on? Like that's how the subscribers I think react when they're being nice.
I think that's how certain Star Wars fans react.
Yeah,
like it's been evident to me. Like as a guy who watches a lot of TV and movies, like my focus isn't just Star Wars. But seeing the cluster of people I follow and like interact with on the Bestman Bulletin side of things, like if they expect all the Star Wars stuff to be close to the quality of the movies, and also in terms of the promotion, they expect it to follow a promotional run like the movies do. They see it as Star Wars as this big theatrical thing, and still viewing it as that even when it's on Disney Plus, like in every way possible. Where in reality, like that's not how most TV shows operate, even in the streaming world.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that is, I don't know. I think Star Wars fans, it's the same thing with the games, right? Like we've talked about the games. Star Wars fans who don't play much else, who only want to pick up Jedi Survivor and play it on their console. They're the ones who
love you, Azatrue. I don't know why he's being mean to you. I love you, man. You're
PC
cool.
Master Race, Azatrue. But
Azatrue's gonna hang out with us tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, but to those people who were then complaining because it was only on a PS5 and a Series X and PC, they're the ones complaining because they don't play a lot of games. They didn't invest into like the new hardware, and they just want it on the things they already have. Like, again, I think it's not just Star Wars fans. I'm assuming it's with other franchises too. But because we're in the Star Wars bubble, you see it a lot in that way. So,
well, here's a more accurate like hypothetical though. Like, if there's no PG-13 Game of Thrones going out in the movie theaters 3 times a fucking year, and then also a Game of Thrones show on HBO, like there's only so much fucking. I know everyone. They just went too much. You can't do fucking 4 shows a year, at 6 to 8 episodes, 10 episodes a fucking season, plus 3 to 4 fucking movies that all have to make a fucking $1 billion. It's that fucking simple.
No, it is. I mean, there isn't enough money in the consumer base to actually give that to you, and especially in the economy that we've been in the last couple of years. So, Cascadian 101. Thank you for the $5 super chat, bud. He says, but isn't the lack of cultivation, no indie franchise investment, the death in Star Wars films, for example, all fueled by the rules of the game, so to speak, shareholder and quarterly profits? So I don't know, man, because it's like on one hand, like when you have that brand awareness, the idea, I think using brand awareness also does play into the shareholder and quarterly profits sort of mentality, in the sense that when you do become an investor in Disney, like what they got. Like they got that Ferrari, if you will. That's the Star Wars franchise, and that Ferrari, that's fucking Marvel and Pixar and stuff like that. So like, you want to invest with the people who have like the shit going on. But the problem is when they have bloat, when they have like when their spending is out of control, the bloat doesn't go into the right places all of the time. And the bloat, we would hope, would have, for instance, in this thing, have been Indiana Jones shorts or cartoons, or short cartoons or something that just raised brand awareness and weren't hyper profitable, but then would see the returns when an Indiana Jones movie hit the theaters, for instance, like getting people interested in it. Like they put the films on Disney Plus that at the same time the movie came out. Like that was the dumb idea. Those movies needed to be on Disney Plus last year, so that way they would have a year of people discovering them. Little kids that never saw it going, "Oh, I like this. I want more of this," and they would have got it, but they didn't. So that's where, it's and once again, like I don't think there's like I don't know, a culture czar for Star Wars or something like that. I think they have brand managers, obviously, but they tend to get really jaded and self-absorbed and hating the internet culture and stuff like that, where they end up not really understanding, I think, what is the best way to steer the ship for Star Wars and for people that aren't on the internet all the time, but also to please the people that are. They've never been able to like figure that out. And is brand cultivation a marketing strategy? I would say so. Yeah.
But what do you guys think? You remember as well, like once something at Disney doesn't do well. So when they had those 2 earnings quarters, remember when they did their reports, where they were losing subscribers and losing money. At the end of it, they announced sequels to Toy Story. They announced Toy Story 5 and Frozen 3 to regain confidence from the shareholders and investors. Like they want to keep, and like before Bob Iger was saying that they want to continue to just focus on the franchises, right? Like it's the thing that Zaslav's been saying of they want to take less risks and focuses on already proven material and franchises. So, and again, with Star Wars, death of Star Wars films, again, it's not for lack of trying. They have tried to get, and again, you can put the blame on Kathy's door or whoever's door, but they have tried to make Star Wars movies. And that's where the thing of that you said it, and then Jeff Snyder said it, which was Kathy needs to deliver a Star Wars film in December 2025. She needs to hit that date. Granted, that's now being pushed, but it's not her fault. It's Bob Iger's decision to do that because the Avatar needs that release date. This has got another one.
The industry changed in that little time, strikes and everything, so that becomes what it is. It's the same. It's the same date. It's just the date's been moved. Later.
Yeah. So if she doesn't get a film out by May of 2026, or doesn't look like she's going to, maybe she then does get removed. But the one thing that came out of that was clear from you and from Snyder is that Disney are desperate to get a Star Wars movie out. They know it's been far too long. They didn't want to go this long.
Yeah.
And, so the death of Star Wars films, I don't know if it's the right term, but they are trying to get them out.
You have to theme it. When they put it in carbonite, right, Bespin? That's where you're from, where they do that. Okay, sorry. I wanted to be like those other shows that drive me crazy for a minute. But yeah,
what other shows?
Like all the Star Wars podcasts that say stupid shit like that.
I don't really follow any of
those. Yeah,
I'm not a fan, so.
But yeah, if you're a fake fan,
I'm a fake.
I'm a Fast and Furious fan, disguising himself as a Star Wars fan. That's all I'm about.
Speaking of cults,
I'm in the cult of Vin Diesel. I'm all in.
Yeah. I named my fast horse in Zelda, Dr. Fast and Fury.
See, I thought you said fast horse.
No, my fast horse.
Right.
His name is Fast and Fury. I thought that was a pretty good homage to Fast and the Furious myself when I came up with it.
It is.
So
named him Paul Walker.
No, Paul Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Brand, yeah, but anyways, like, yeah, in terms of like, I think that not every single thing at Disney needs to be for profit, but can be profit conscious at the same time. And I'm not saying that I don't think that they behave that way, but at the end of the day, whether it's internal politics, lack of creativity, I don't know, but you do see it not happen. Like there are little things that could be done throughout the year. I mean, like, I know this is going to sound dumb, but like fucking webisodes were a bad idea, and that they were always too expensive to be able to like pay for anything and make anything make sense. But if you had advertisements that were like webisodes that were on Disney Plus, and I could only legally watch it on Disney Plus, do you not see how that might keep my pathetic ass subscribed for a little bit longer? And it would probably be worth it to them. And they already have the space. They already have all the costumes. You would just reuse things. There would be ways of doing fun. Remember that Miyazaki little baby Yoda Grogu fucking cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we could have fucking 20. We can have 20 of those in live action every year.
I think
you could have
the future of
baby
these
Yoda
platforms
eating a fucking baby frog's heads off and shit. Like it would be like Ozzy, and shit. I would watch that. Just saying.
I think the future of these platforms is something closer to Tubi and Crunchyroll, where you sort of just have both a free ad. There's just no way. Look, they can't. They gave up their home video, so unless these studios collude to push everyone to own fucking movies again, so they can go back to making money on it.
I have their answer, Rob.
All right.
I've been dealing with this. Mario came out. I was able to buy Mario to watch it at home with my family for $30 fucking. I laughed in Mario's pathetic meatball eating face when he showed me that, right? I'd already gone to the theater to see it. But what they need to do is they need to release the movies to digital. Let me buy it for $25 to $30. I don't like it. I'd rather maybe 20, but $20 to $30, and then have that screening at home. And then I actually do own it. That would be fair. Because if I could look at it as I'm renting it for $15 to have it now, and then I'm actually owning it, that would probably reinvigorate that market to some degree. And then the Disney Plus stuff would still hook the families. Like I control the families like digital watching in this instance. I know homeboy over at HBO Max or Max thinks that like I'm gonna buy shit for my mother-in-law. Fuck her. She could fucking die. I'm gonna watch what I want to watch. And she could have my password and she could watch the stuff I'm watching if she wants to, or she could just go fucking watch TV by herself. That's how I feel about it. But they need to like handle it a little bit differently on that front. And that's how I could deal with it. That's how they would get more money out of me. Instead, they get nothing out of me. It's like it's too greedy.
But none of this solves the how do we fucking give engagement or whatever statistics to actors to get them paid more than 10 cent or production people, writers, whatever, more than 10 cent residual checks.
Yeah,
like because I went to I stopped by the store on the way over to the movie theater the other day, Go see Mission Impossible. And and I was noticing that a shirt that my buddy had done 10 years ago is still selling.
Hellbot.
Hellbot. So I Ko-fi'd him 10 cents. I'm like, there's your residual. Like, what's it feel like to be a famous person?
So all of this is happening on the backdrop of SAG is now going on strike, and Bespin's done a really good job. I still have huge questions that nobody can answer, but we'll still ask them. SAG-AFTRA strike. What does it mean for Star Wars? By Bespin Bull E10. All right. So last night, the contract between, this is from BespinBulletin.com in case that wasn't clear. Last night, the contract between SAG and the Hollywood studios came to an end at 11:59, and a new deal failed to be struck. Following the SAG-AFTRA and its members are now officially on strike and hitting the picket line tomorrow. So what does it mean for Star Wars? You can support him on Patreon if you want to. Give him a coffee. SAG-AFTRA, Screen Actors Guild of America, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, which represents 160,000 actors, has voted unanimously to strike amid failed talks with the Hollywood studios being represented by the AMPTP. Now, the AMPTP are the producers. They're the toilet paper at the end.
They represent the Hollywood studios.
Yes. They're the producers. Members of SAG-AFTRA will join the striking Writers Guild of America members who are on day 73 of their strike with no end in sight on the picket line, and will result in Hollywood itself almost shutting down. It's fucking shut down when you get down to it. The impact of the strike will be felt across the globe, as the strike will shut down films and scripted television series that employ SAG-AFTRA members around the world, and not just the United States. However, soap operas will not be impacted as they fall under a different contract.
Yeah, I'm just saying that because it's a scripted one, which is the thing they're talking about. There's other things actors can do.
So can they say Star Wars is technically a soap opera when you get down to it? No, okay.
No, Days of Our Lives and stupid shit.
Let's go to the source. Yes, you can. Originally, the name for Star Wars was A New Bow and Hope, but I took out the bow. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid in soap operas, Luke and Laura. Yeah. That was a big arc my mom was into.
I'm a Days guy. I don't watch it.
Okay.
Bow and Hope from the 90s. That's what it was. So on the time I was working on Indiana Jones, the kid one, the one I did with the kid. Remember that one?
George, don't put it that way. It sounds weird when you say it like that. Yeah, go eat Chinese buffet and have a good day.
Right, well, yeah. These actors, you don't need them. You can make digital actors, and you don't need them. You can just make.
Yeah, you did have a digital Harrison Ford in that movie. You produced in name only last week.
Yeah. I also gouged out the old man's eye myself, and I'm hoping we get to film that for the DVD special edition of the Dial of the Dial of Bankruptcy.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
So SAG-AFTRA's contract expired on June 30th, but the union and Hollywood studios came to an agreement to extend the contract to July 12th at 11:59 as negotiations were taking place. Yesterday, as the extension grew closer to expiring, the producers brought in a federal mediator in the last-ditch effort to a strike. An agreement could not be reached after 4 weeks of negotiations with SAG. Representatives adding that they were not confident that the employers have any intention of bargaining towards an agreement. The, quote, producers, I'm just calling it the producers, who negotiate on behalf of various Hollywood studios, including Disney, said they were deeply disappointed that SAG-AFTRA decided to walk away from the negotiations, and that the group offered historic pay and residual increases, a groundbreaking AI proposal that protects actors' digital likenesses. We'll see about that one as we read on, and other gains to actors.
What if they just find an actor that looks like another actor? Like, does Henry Cavill get residuals for Corn Sweat? You know what I mean? Like,
we learned what happens with that with Back to the Future Part 2, when they put a mask on George McFly. You get sued.
They Mission Impossible. They Marty Impossible, right?
Fucking Face Off with Crispin Glover. The AMPTP, the producers, basically the producers. Yeah, the TP proposals included a 76% increase in high budget SVOD foreign residuals, performers consent for the creation and use of digital replicas or for digital alterations of a performance. 58% increase in salaries for major role guest star performers, wages on high-budget SVOD programs. 11% pay increase in year one for background actors, stand-ins, and photo doubles. An additional 17% increase of background actors required to do extensive self-styling. And an additional 62% increase for stand-ins required to deliver lines during a run-through and photo doubles required to memorize and deliver their lines on camera. First time ever fixed residuals for stunt coordinators on television and high-budget SVOD programs. Shortened option periods for series regulars, including less than $65,000 per episode on a half-hour series and less than 70% episode on a 1 hour series.
But let me add something to this. Many times I listen to a lot of interviews with directors, right? I mean, every type, and every now and then they'll get into like the subject of rehearsals, and they go, "Yeah, I love rehearsals." You know, I mean, you get to run it. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "You don't pay for rehearsals? People just come in and you're like, no, they're getting $20, so they're free, right?"
Also, Rob, when I was reading that book, Burn It Down, last month, there was this part about the Sleepy Hollow series. I think it was the Sleepy Hollow series. And one of the actors was a black woman who needed a wig for her performance. And for a lot of the series, she was paying for it herself. And it's just like,
oh, you never heard the stories
ridiculous.
On Piranha 2? Lance Hendrickson, Cameron complained about Lance Hendrickson had to carve his own. He played a cop in this fucking thing. He had to carve his own gun out of wood, like because he didn't have a gun prop for him. You know?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that was Piranha 2, and this was a big Fox, big budget television series that they were hoping.
What's the difference?
Right? Yeah. According to SAG-AFTRA representative, the studio's AI proposal included. Listen to this, Rob. The studio's AI proposal included scanning a background actor's likeness for 1 day's worth of pay and using their likeness forever in perpetuity in any form without any residuals or consent. So imagine
that's not a negotiation. That's a hostage. Like, we got your face, fucker.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, we could literally just scan a bunch of actors for 2 or 3 years and then never need to pay on any of you fuckers ever again.
I told you, having seen Indiana Jones, I wouldn't worry too much about this. Everyone's going to look like spirits within. It's not going to be good. You know, they're not even going to have the render fucking capability of rendering out all these faces
right now. But this isn't about tomorrow. This is about the day after tomorrow. You know what I mean? So
hold on, I got to put my Art Bell music. Give me a
second. yeah, you do. Some of the biggest sticking points for the SAG-AFTRA members is the use of artificial intelligence, and really quickly. But let's bring this back to Star Wars. There was a character who was a background actor, probably paid $100 for the day on The Phantom Menace to just be in the background, and he ended up looking like Quinlan Vos, a character developed years after the production of The Phantom Menace. Then that character was then retroconned into being Quinlan Vos. And so think about what kind of fucking Black Mirror style shit that comes out of that concept alone.
Yeah,
because
Santa.
Somebody on like the picket line or something described the Joan is Awful episode from Black Mirror.
Yeah,
they are worried about that becoming a reality.
Yeah. I mean, it's
did the tribe with the Sankara stones, did they get paid for fucking Ander? I don't think so.
No,
right?
Probably not.
They did.
But it's like when they're doing that kind of like negotiations or whatever, that's not something that anybody could take. No one is going to want to be the one responsible for saying, oh, that was a good idea, knowing damn well that eventually the technology will be there. I mean, realistically, they're going to probably end up getting around this anyways. They're going to probably end up using digital doubles and using them as background filler anyhow. They're going to end up negotiating down the road a bare minimum of, oh, you must use 7 real extras, and then you could fill in 25 fake ones. I bet you that's where this goes in 10
I used to think Timothée Chalamet was the real Bale until he's in The Phantom Menace.
Oh, no.
It had to be explained to me that he was, it wasn't him. Like, I was like, all right, look like them.
Yeah. Some of the biggest sticking points for the SAG-AFTRA members is the use of artificial intelligence, base pay safeguards, streaming service residuals, and pay for self-taped auditions. The rapid growth in streaming services and their output has provided an increased amount of performing opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But over time, series have become shorter, breaks in between seasons have become longer, and though budgets for television series are increasing, it's not reflected in money being earned by the performers, with the residual payments they are receiving from streamers and studios being considered inadequate. Performers must make $26,000 a year to qualify for health insurance in the United States, but falling residual payments from streaming services are preventing struggling actors from hitting this threshold. Base pay and residual payments are two of the biggest concerns for SAG, along with the use of artificial intelligence technology. SAG has called for new regulations and performer contracts as for when AI can be used and at what cost, among concerns that AI could put actors out of work, and to digitally simulate an actor's performance. CEO Bob Iger, who is looking potentially to earn $27 million fucking dollars this year, says that both the Actors and Writers Guilds are being unrealistic in regards to their demands. There's a level of expectation that they have, and that is not realistic.
I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
I'll read it. There's a level of expectation.
Yeah.
See, the problem is villains walk and talk and sound like us, right?
Yeah.
They don't really
clasp your hands together behind your back and then just do it. You'll have it.
Yeah. Hold on, just shove this fucking thing down my throat.
Hey, whatever it takes, girl.
Yeah. Big Papa Iger, as Canty called. Big Papa. Yeah, there's a level of expectation that I have. Oh, so sorry, Filoni's reading it. I get Filoni to read it for him.
You know what, Filoni? Why doesn't Filoni read Iger? He works for him. It's his daddy.
Oh my god, I love this dude.
He has to every sentence though. It must end with "Daddy says." That way we know it's Filoni.
Daddy says there's a level of expectations that Daddy has, and that's just not realistic. And they gonna be adding to the set of challenges that is this business is already facing, and that is quite frankly very disruptive. I don't like it.
Daddy says.
I don't like it either. Yeah, Daddy says. You know, he got me real otter pops, not that fake stuff you get with the tubes at Walmart. The real stuff with this little sad otters
Dollar
on
Tree Kool-Aid pops I buy my kids.
No, I like drinking the sad otter. That's my favorite.
Yeah, Iger's recently extended contract at Disney could see him earn an annual bonus of up to 5 times more than before. So this brings us the question, and remember, guys, like what the writers were saying. If all of these CEOs got reasonable bonuses and paychecks, that would pay for everything that the writers were asking for by itself. So just think about that. Like, why do we need Bob Iger? If you're investing in Disney, why do you feel that Bob Iger is worth that? Is it because you want a fucking king? Like, what is that?
He's a blazer.
He's fucking important. Crazy. That's fucking crazy.
And he gets coffee because closers get coffee.
We are fucking morons. Like, we deserve we deserve our ruling class sometimes when I think about that shit. All right. So this brings us to the question. What does the strike mean for our beloved Star Wars franchise? Members of SAG must immediately stop work on a film or TV set and cannot continue until an agreement is reached between the union and the Hollywood studios. This means that if a TV series or a film is currently in the midst of shooting, those actors represented by union must halt work. Currently, there's only one Star Wars project filming, Andor Season Dos, which has been shooting since November and is aiming to wrap sometime in August. Any actors part of SAG must immediately stop work, and this will likely lead into delays in production or production being stopped until an agreement between the union and the studios is reached. However, and this is why we don't want AI fucking actors, because when they go to strike, they'll just be able to AI casting it into it all. However,
what if all the AI actors go to Fortnite?
Oh,
what if they really do strike?
Well, at least then I can shoot them.
I finally got a casting skin. I'll be honest.
That's true. I mean, I'm gonna make you be Biggs, and it's gonna get weird, like that episode of Black Mirror. When you're Biggs, dude, I'm gonna totally fucking make out with you. All right. However, one production related to Star Wars that is filming in the United Kingdom Just like Ender, season 2 is the second season of House of the Dragon, which will continue to film despite the SAG strike. According to Variety, as the HBO series is composed of mostly British actors, they are
bitches
that are working.
Sorry.
Yeah, that are working under contract governed by the UK union, Jack, Equity, and because of this, filming is technically allowed to continue as Equity members are not legally allowed to strike in solidarity with SAG. Variety added that strict union laws in the United Kingdom are preventing an extensive show of solidarity from Equity, who can't legally call a strike due to restrictive UK legislation. It's unknown if this will play any part in Ender's production, as many British actors are involved in the series. And like that's the big question that I have. That Bestman gave me a good answer to it, and I'm still confused by the reality of it. Like, if Genevieve O'Reilly, Mon Mothma, is a UK actor, but also a member of SAG who will act in the States, does she get blacklisted if she doesn't throw down her thing and goes with what they want? Or does SAG go, we understand the position you were in and allow it?
No, what was she working in anyway? You know, like do we know?
Well, I mean, she already filmed her Mando stuff that was cut, and then her Ahsoka stuff that.
Yeah, but we know that's not the same on Mothma. It's like, you know, that corny one.
No, it's the same with Genevieve O'Reilly.
That real serious Mon Mothma.
Nah, dude, she looks fly low on supply. Mothma. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. You sound
shit, man.
You sound fucking. You sound crazy right now. Yeah, she looks pretty hot.
I'm on brand for this show.
I mean, I'll let her. I'll let her parent my butt. I don't care. All right,
she
I don't
ain't
care.
Doing that in Mando, but in Mander, well,
I like to think that by Mando, she's fucking got a divorce or killed him, and she's just fucking out, fucking partying hard. You know what I mean? That's my hope.
Out there, man. They eating little cookies.
I mean, I heard a rumor, you guys. I don't usually like to deal in like unsubstantiated rumors, but I heard that Mon Mothma rode Nien Num's face. That's what I heard, you guys. So you lucky bastard. All right. Members of SAG are forbidden from promoting their projects, which includes press junkets, fan events, TV appearances, social media, and much more. Social media even. So that means they can't go like, go watch my show, Ahsoka, coming on August 23rd.
Yeah, you can't share the Ahsoka trailer or something, like, if you're part of SAG.
And
no going on Harloff show.
Can't do it. Can't do it. This means that the SAG members who star in the next Star Wars release, the live-action Disney Plus series Ahsoka, due to be released on August 23rd, will not be allowed to promote the project in any way. Any press scheduled for after the strike must immediately be canceled. In short, the SAG
on that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
But Jason, can I just go up to like all the drive-thrus and just tell them about the show and stuff? Can I just
go to any drive-thru? They don't
just be like, I want a gorditas, and do you know I got a new show out named Ahsoka?
You can do that. You can do that, Dave.
Okay, cool. I just want to ask. Okay, I'm going back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you were like, yeah, you know, hey, can I get some doggy style fries? And by the way, it's a bait and switch. Reba's the main character. I remember when you started.
You know, I went to Long John Silver's and asked them to have some bait and switch, and they didn't have it.
Dude,
I thought they would. But they
my ex liked Long John Silver's, and she would want to go there, and I'd go there with her, and that is awful food. That is awful.
Dude, you remember when I was watching Double Toasted the other day, and they were going over that cheeseburger in Korea or Thailand that they're selling as like, it's just 20 slices of American cheese. Have you seen this? It's an all.
I don't know, but it sounds good.
It's so bad.
It's a cheddar block. A block of cheese.
They were losing their minds. It's all individual slices too, Brad. It's not just a block. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason.
Yeah.
But then they reminded me of that time Long John Silver's they were selling the bits that fall to the bottom of the fryer, like pickins, or they were calling them.
That's what Dave used to call himself when he was with Spielberg and Lucas. I'm just pickins. You know,
I'm thick pickings. You know, slim pickings. That's how I got the conversation with Joe, and he was like, "I love slim. I'm thick pickings." Yeah.
All right, thick pickings. In short, the SAG strike, in addition to the WGA strike, will significantly impact each and every live-action Star Wars project currently in development, and those that have already wrapped and gearing up for a release. Currently, future Star Wars projects such as The Mandalorian Season 4 and the untitled Daisy Ridley-led Star Wars movie are in various forms of development, but development and production cannot progress due to the WGA strike. The impact of both the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA are going on strike will be immediately felt in the present and likely in the years to come. Hopefully, the Hollywood studios and the respective unions eventually come to an agreement, which all parties believe are fair. So, yeah, basically everything's fucking broken, you guys. The whole industry is fucking broken. They can't write anything. Actors can't act. Directors can direct because they're fucking. They made a deal.
But they got nobody to direct.
They got nobody to direct. They got nothing.
Maybe
to
British
shoot.
people. Maybe British people.
Maybe. Yeah, and that's like the big thing. Like I said, that I can't get my head around because we saw what's his name, Tony Gilroy was acted like he was done with what do you call it, Andor season 2, but still had to jump ship, so had to leave because
of his it's because of the production duties, and he couldn't justify being on board as the writer and not having it's like the cut of a time thing was just changing stage direction of design.
Yeah,
he couldn't just be there. It didn't make sense. Again, this is an actor's contract and not a writer's contract. So
right, but what I find, but it's the legality of it is there's so much overlap, and then there's this like I said, the legalities of it make it seem like no, you can't do that. You can't do something that's already in production, which it's weird.
Only in terms of actors, though, it's not in terms of writers.
Right, but that's I understand that, and it doesn't make sense in terms of just the law. Because under the same reasoning, you could argue that therefore writers should be able to finish what's already in production.
Could argue it, but again, it's weird. From what they say, it's a UK law, which specifically pertains to actors. Right. So even though we say it should be the same for any creative actor, director, writer, whatever else, it should be the same rule for all.
Yeah.
For some reason, in the UK, with their restrictive legislation laws and union laws, actors specifically have to continue.
Yeah.
Equity, even though they say they would like to stand with SAG, they cannot because of the laws pertaining to the UK and the unions.
Fuck you, Margaret Thatcher. I don't know.
If only a one world order could give us all the same laws.
Right? If only.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, deliver us, bring us into one nation.
Jason, you're not supposed to share it, dude.
Oh, shit. Oh no. Oh yeah. I was acting that I didn't like and I wasn't in the cult, but now that we're on strike, I thought I couldn't do that anymore.
Oh man, feet and scab, dude.
Oh, fuck.
But another HBO show is also going to continue to film Industry because it's also a UK-based production with mostly UK actors, so that is also continuing ahead.
Yeah.
So it's not just the one production.
I want to hear because and then the UK government can say whatever the fuck they want. SAG's an American organization that has its own fucking rules and shit. And I'm curious, is SAG going to be cool to those people? Is SAG going to say it's okay? What is SAG?
They have no choice.
Right.
If they do it, what they do then is considered illegal, it seems.
Right. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that SAG won't try to force that. They could still. I mean, if they honestly, with what I heard about the presentation today with the nanny and stuff, it didn't sound like they had their shit together too much, to be honest with you.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, it didn't sound. She's out there. She's working on a project that she on a commercial or something that she already had scheduled and it's just you should have been there. You should have canceled. You should have.
Oh, you mean the broad who sit there and said she would have struck over masks? Didn't have her shit together.
Did
or the fucking one. And the one who when they signed all that fucking letter to the head of SAG, she signed the letter. to herself.
Oh.
That one. Fucking look, man. I've found her funny on Spinal Tap, UHF, and shit. You know what I mean? The Nanny wasn't my show, but all right. But
I still watched The Nanny because she was pretty hot with the sound off.
I hear you, but I was too busy working to watch The Nanny when that shit came out. So I was like
beating off.
But,
go ahead.
But like that broad's bought the fuck out, dude. If there was ever anyone bought out by a studio, if you can't see their writing on that fucking wall, you know, like it's like signing a letter to the president, and the president signs the fucking letter. Yeah, I agree with you. We signed a letter to Santa to complain, and Santa's like, I signed it too. I agree.
It's like Bill Barr. Yeah, it's very much a Bill Barr Trump situation, probably.
Yeah.
But
we just went through all that and the crawling chaos. Ask if SAG is on strike.
Hold on. I got something here, Jason. Sabersmith says, I'm curious what Snyder's going to say on the hot mic tonight. If he says anything else, I know what he's going to say.
What's he going to say? What's he going to say?
He's going to say, thanks for the $100, Spreezy. We ain't answering shit.
He's going to be like, and we got a $100 super chat from Chris Spreezy. So anyways, tell me, what are and then let's move on. Yeah.
What about the Safdie brothers? What about the Safdie brothers?
The Safdie brothers. What are the Safdie brothers?
Safdie brothers.
Oh, the Safdie brothers are the Safdie brothers were spotted at A24 this week. And then let's move on.
Let's talk about Idol. Let's talk about Idol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Idol was good. Idol was good. Me and I think me and Messman both liked Idol.
Me and Snyder were the only three vocal to say that we like that show.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. People act like it's the fucking Room or something, and I'm like, no. I mean, it's like
people don't act like it's the Room. People act like it's I'm not gonna get into it because it's too much.
Yeah. But I've seen.
You're gonna have to defend your opinions, Bespin.
Ooh, got called out.
Oh, welcome to the party, pal. You know, some of us around here aren't afraid to say what they like and don't like.
Shit.
On my podcast, every week I've spoken about the Idol.
Rob just tells it how it is,
Yeah, and then I get death threats. I get James writing me like seven page long fucking letters. Or
thank you for the super chat, James.
I keep getting into conversations and debates with people who've never even seen the Idol. They just watch clips and watch other people's opinions on the Idol.
Yeah,
they've only jerked off to the nude scenes on X videos. They didn't actually watch.
So the whole thing.
Yeah,
fair. That's fair.
Oh, you got me there.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of it. Then. Yeah.
Crawling Chaos also said, "So no more Star Wars. We all fucking then."
We're all gonna get in the pile,
Hey, now is a great time to bring back Battlestar Galactica.
Hey,
nobody can write it though, Rob.
That's true.
Nobody can write it.
After the last season of Battlestar, does it matter?
This has all happened before, and it'll happen again. It's fine. It's like I know. Just do what.
What if they just remade the whole thing? They just
in AI.
What
with
if
AI actors.
show for show? It got Gus Van Sant to do it, and
I mean, okay, this is highly unlikely to happen. But do you think that we could see shows not come out? Like, could Ahsoka not? I don't think it'll be pulled at this point. It's so close. But do you think we could see something like that happen where they're just like, you know what? We can't get fucking, Samuel L. Jackson out to promote this bitch.
I think you might see movies get delayed instead of like shows.
Yeah.
I think shows will be fine. But I think movies might get delayed.
Yeah.
If depending on how long the strike actually goes on for.
Right.
I don't see them going into, I don't know, like the next big movie season is what, November and December?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them.
Do you think they'll release Dune and not be able to promote it with the actors and shit?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I think they will want Zendaya and Chalamet there.
Yeah,
because they get so much buzz off of social media and off of TikTok and wherever else, and help them promote that movie. But yeah, I don't know. I think we've seen they already started pulling films from what do you call it, from TIFF and stuff. They started pulling movies from festivals already because they can't send the actors there to promote it, and they think it's pointless to do it now.
Yeah.
The VFX people aren't in a union, so there's no collectiveness there.
Oh yes, Stephen Murphy, Dr. Stephen Murphy, PI, says
there should be a union.
VFX people might as well go on strike next, and that's the problem. They've they've tried
Lucas
to
made
get it
certain
going
that wouldn't happen.
a few times, yeah, and it hasn't happened.
I wouldn't let him.
And
No.
in that instance, if they were to do it, the actual changeover would probably crash Hollywood in the process.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
But it's completely fair. I mean, it's our right to unionize no matter what job we do.
I don't know about that. I mean,
George,
yeah, John Knoll, he went out there with a picket sign once, and I had Dennis Muren choke him in the pond, and I got it
really?
Yeah,
he's a tall drink. He's a tall drink of water, so I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, he plays a Nazi shockingly well, actually. It was, yeah. But did you know he talks like fat bastard? Yeah, it's crazy.
Crawling Chaos says, "We are all fucking then" is from a forum where someone made a spelling mistake. It became a meme. And that's exactly why your next post, so everyone on strike, we need to do now is make a Swedish Star Wars edition. No, because I think your Swedish Star Wars edition is going to end with us all fucking now. I see through it.
I'm like the only person that was in the
it.
theater who saw that movie in the theaters. So
which one?
The fucking
the Swedish film.
Yeah,
was it Be Kind Rewind?
Mos Def. Yeah, it was a Be Kind Rewind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Black.
Yeah. Yeah, and Steven mentions what Bespin was telling me earlier. Superman had so much of its cast announced, it was supposed to begin filming in January 2024. But there was more to that, right, Bespin? There was like a little angle to it?
Yeah, like some people, like some journalists were saying that they think they wanted to announce the cast so early on because they didn't want to think it was going on during a possible SAG strike, which at the time nobody knew if actors would be able to negotiate or audition for roles in that process. So they wanted to get it out and done ready for the SAG strike.
Right.
Which they did. They got a bunch of cast members announced and that's all sorted.
Yeah.
And that stuff isn't even in the rules that we've seen so far anyway. So it might not have mattered, but it was just to be safe. And filming in 2024 could still film in 2024.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully. I hope
I'm telling you. So they because Jason, I just want to clarify this. SAG's on strike now.
Mm-hmm.
Can they just negotiate with SAG and then still let the writers not going to negotiate with the writers at all? Or will SAG force them to negotiate?
Well, the rumor yesterday that is credible is that that they're not even going to talk to the writers until October. Yeah. They're going to let them. They're letting them hang themselves. They're letting them lose their homes. They're letting their kids have to change schools if they were in private school. All that shit. They're down to hurt them. They're
those kids can work now in Iowa, right?
Oh, that's true.
Kansas and Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg's got a huge surprise. Jason, coincidentally speaking, Gatlinburg's been hiring a lot of little children. And I don't know. I'm just saying, someone's been spending a lot of time in Gatlinburg.
Santa knows which ones were naughty or nice, and those naughty ones, they could go to work.
Those extra sketches ain't going to make themselves, Jason.
Yeah. All right. Last comment before we go, because I got to do some stuff today. Bob Iger, Jonesy says, thank you for being a channel member, Jonesy. I appreciate it, dude. Bob Iger chasing a growth in streaming subscriber members, trying to grow quality subs that are less sensitive to pricing adjustments. Capitalistic way of thinking and will cause social difference. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. It's also, I mean, it's like if they're going to try to treat it like it's Disneyland, it's not going to work for them though, because the thing about it is like Disneyland is a luxury vacation and entertainment where you want people buying your fucking Baby Yoda pajamas isn't the same thing.
No.
And like I was saying earlier, like they don't have commercials for Star Wars Under Ruse today, do they? They let the film.
Could you imagine what the QAnoners would? Sound of Freedom would be all over those fucking commercials in 30 seconds.
For adults. I mean,
that they fucking lose their minds.
I mean, I'm doing them right now, and I'm going to Return of the Jedi Under Ruse while I'm doing this. But basically,
poor Pac-Man.
Oh man, he's right in the crack. He's right into the taint. They're way too small.
Is it the Pac-Man with the Brooklyn accent from the CBS cartoon, or is it the Pac-Man with like the Mario accent from the Namco commercials?
Well, hey, Baymax says we're sliding towards feudalism, and you're not wrong, because I had people swearing fealty to Elon Musk this week because I just said neither of these people love you, and you saw them. They were ready to eat Elon's butt right there. You know what I mean? They're down for it. They love it. Those little, and I know you're making a joke about Santa, but they are into it. Like, fascism is just dumb. It's just fucking dumb, and they're so fucking ready for it. Like, I hate to say it, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Like those I don't know how we deal with those people because they're fucking scary. They're weird, and here we are. But yeah, but swear fealty to your corporate or overlords at Disney or whatever. Go around calling me a shill for 5 years because you don't like a Star Wars movie, and then shill for Elon.
Meanwhile, have we ever run one fucking commercial on this channel?
Have we ever not offended the very fabric and moral sensibilities of Disney itself every episode?
Yeah. The only person anything remotely legit we've had on the show is Ahmed Best for like 30 minutes.
He was a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah,
like, oh shit, I'm on that show. I gotta go. No, he was.
Yeah, poor guy. Ricky was like Googling the show during the interview.
Like,
I could tell. He's
fuck.
like, what? You can see his face if you watch it when he realizes what he's on, and then he got out.
People are going to take you seriously and then go find a thing of him like checking his phone and going, there it is, you guys.
You should take me seriously. That's what he's doing. Like, why would I lie?
He's super nice. He's super
why
nice.
Why would I lie?
He
is nice. It's
you're in a
us.
cult.
You're
in a cult.
We're the.
But all right. Anyways, we got to go, guys. We'll be back.
Tax shelter.
We'll be back tomorrow. On tomorrow morning, I'm going to be on Star Wars Santa show if he does a show. So if you guys want to,
I was going to be on Star Wars Channel show tomorrow.
Are you going to really tomorrow?
Huh?
Are you going to? Are you really on it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, nice.
He sent me the link and everything.
For
Do you
tomorrow?
think Santa was just going to give us both links and then leave and make us do a show?
Have I been replaced?
Huh?
Are you Santa's new little buddy? Does he call you little buddy?
I'm the only one that'll talk to him about the 46th chapter of the Thrawn book, like paragraph B. Yeah, like you won't do it, Jason.
Right.
But I'll do it.
You'll do it. All right. Well, me and Rob will be on Star Wars Santa show tomorrow morning if you guys are around. And make sure you go to bestmanbulletin.com and you can follow us all on Threads. If
Santa's giving away $800 worth of figures. And I don't see Jason or Bestman doing that. Right.
Whenever you're on a show,
coffee money to do that, Rob.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, maybe if you just leave out free cookies for Bulletin tonight, he can come through your window, collect them, and resell those fuckers on Etsy to pay for those figures.
I have an R2D2. What are these called? Koozies? I don't know what they call this shit things right here. And this is my Poppy communion glass. I was indoctrinated into the cult of Poppy. It was just grape juice, though. It wasn't really.
Isn't Poppy the guy that doesn't wash his hands on Seinfeld? Like Poppy? Oh, you said coffee.
No, Poppy. Poppy, the singer.
No, he's the guy who doesn't wash his hands on Seinfeld. Then they go to the restaurant. Poppy doesn't wash his hands.
He's on about Poppy.
Yeah, Poppy.
You just said the same fucking word, Bestman. It's not Poppy, it's Poppy.
And then Poppy's and Poppy.
So basically, yeah. When
this is how you end up with the letter U in color, right, Jason? Like,
is Poppy not spelled the same over there?
No, Rob is just off his rocker right now. Rob, we don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, it's Poppy. It's said the same way, but it's spelled different. You should know. Yeah. Okay. Right.
When you're banging away and a girl calls you Poppy, it doesn't sound the same. It doesn't sound the same.
You should wash your hands. Like
you should wash your. You should definitely wash your hands.
Yes,
and more.
Or you're a Poppy.
All right, Rob. I'm gonna give it to you that you thematically linked the whole thing together and you made it work. Good work. All right, everybody. We got to go.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bestman, for hanging out with us today, and for the excellent articles, and they were informative and all that jazz.
Also, Bestman has a Ko-fi, but I'm gonna have a Caffey, which is named after Tom Cruise's character, and A Few Good Men. Go to my cafe and leave you what?
You know what? I gotta
It's
go.
the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.